Hey there, and welcome to No Small Life, where we help you rebuild a life you love no matter what you've walked through. Your life is not small, and you don't have to live it that way any longer. I'm Megan Ria, and today we're talking about how to let go of insecurity in your body image. I could not be more excited to unpack this topic because of how stealthily insecurity slips under the radar and impacts all of us on a daily basis. And the goal here with this video, is not to give you like 3 quippy steps to beating insecurity, because I don't want to be trite, you guys, because we're going to be, tugging at some beliefs about yourself and your life that might have some really deep roots. But here is the truth, friend. They don't have to drive you anymore if you don't want them to. So the question is this: where is insecurity showing up in your life? What is it saying to you? And how are we going to disarm its power over your life when it comes to your body? Let's go, friend. I want to ask you a question. What is the first word that comes to mind when you think of your body? What's the first word? Now let me ask you this. Was that word negative? If you said something like strong, amazing, capable, resilient, I am so fiercely proud of you. And if you didn't, you are not alone. Come close, friend. We're going to do this together, okay? Currently, I am rereading a book I picked up last year called Breaking Free from Body Shame by Jess Connolly. And I cannot recommend this book enough. And I will put a link in the description because honestly, you need this book in your life. I've read this book twice. I'm sure I will read it again at some point. But there was something she said in this book that at first I didn't know if I could believe it. It felt arrogant. It made me uncomfortable. It kind of railed against my flesh. And what she said was this: you have a good body. Say that out loud. I have a good body. I have a good body. And that's based on what God pronounced about his original creation. See, back in the garden when God made us, he called our bodies good. So regardless of how your body looks or functions, the first word spoken over it was that it was good. And telling ourselves that truth, I have a good body, shifts how we treat it and how we live in it. So what would it look like for you right now in your actual body to live like your body was good right now as it is? See, we can easily swing the gamut, can't we, when it comes to our bodies? On one end of the spectrum, you have absolute obsession, constant striving for an image in your mind that you think is acceptable, that you feel would give you confidence or peace. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have absolute just neglect and sometimes sabotage and not doing anything to foster health or strength in your body. So what do we do, and how do we break free from the insecurity that lives across the entire spectrum and disarm its power over your life? I want to give you 3 ways today. The first is this: honor. What does honoring the body that God gave you look like to you? Maybe for you, it's committing just to moving every day and honoring him in that way. Maybe it's reframing your thoughts with appreciation instead of frustration or disgust. See, God did not mess up when he made you, friend. He crafted you on purpose, with purpose, and he gives you the grace and the opportunity to increase your strength and your intimacy with him in the things that you endure as a result of living in this very imperfect world. And trust me when I say, I just want you to know that Chris and I, we get when your body goes sideways and does the opposite of what you want it to do, okay? We get that. I have a very complicated relationship with my body for many years, especially after we walk through infertility. I've dealt with some weird health issues. I have a low running thyroid. Chris has been very open about navigating some mental health issues. And we are not promised ease or perfection living in this world, right? But we are invited to live free and full lives regardless of what our circumstances look like. And we can honor God and believe that we have good bodies, even if we wish that they would function a little bit differently sometimes. So what does honoring God in your body look like for you? It can look different for each one of us, but here's a few things. Maybe for you, it's going to bed earlier. Maybe it's getting up earlier. It might be starting to take a few supplements. It might be getting off a few supplements because you're using those supplements to just really clamp down on control. It's going to look different for each one of us. But within that, there's an opportunity to grow and surrender in intimacy and faith with God when we can partner and ask the Holy Spirit, what does it look like for me to honor you with my body in this season? The second way is to enjoy. The second way we disarm insecurity's power over our bodies is we just enjoy them. We enjoy the body that God gave us. It's the only one that we're going to get. So here's what that could look like. It could look like challenging it. Seeing what you're capable of. What could you try if you believed your body was good and you took back the reins from insecurity? What have you always wanted to do, okay? I may or may not have taken a ballet class when I was 26 years old, like an intro to ballet class, okay? May or may not have happened. And I also have zero regrets about that. Rest it. That is a hard one for many of us, okay? But part of enjoying is resting and having the trust that if we rest, it will be for our benefit and not to our detriment. We can thank our bodies. We can actually be nice to ourselves and verbalize appreciation to ourselves. That might feel weird, but it's actually really healthy and good. We can also use our bodies to serve someone else. In 2011, we had the opportunity to go on a missions trip to Panama, and it was a huge physical challenge. We stayed in an extremely remote part of the Darien jungle. It was 100+ degrees with 100% humidity. Y'all should have seen my hair. It was about yay big, okay? On top of that, I've been open. I deal with some food sensitivity, some food allergies. So I had to pack an entire week's worth of food in a suitcase that didn't need refrigeration, okay? There was some sacrifice involved. But with those same bodies that we sacrificed with, we were able to use to meet people, to introduce people to Jesus. We were able to play with kids. We were able to play soccer in a field and bring them the gospel because of that. We were able to pray over people. We were able to worship next to people, all because there was some sacrifice and some challenge involved in that. We were able to use these bodies and function through them to serve other people. We fully enjoyed that week, and our bodies were what enabled us to do that. Another way to enjoy the body you have is to dress it in a way that doesn't hide it or shame it or flaunt it for the approval of others, but that just celebrates the life and the body that you have. And if you want more on how to do that, I get that. We have an interview I did last year with Allison Lambatis from Get Your Pretty On. It's a fantastic interview, you guys, and I will put that link below. Another simple way is just to slow down and savor when you eat. Okay, slow down. How many times do we just throw things in our mouth and run out the door? But God gave us taste buds in like this cool bonus, right? We get to enjoy food in our bodies and savor things. We get to move our bodies and play and listen to music and do all these things and enjoy the body that God gave us because it is good. The third way we disarm insecurity in our bodies is through worship. Through worship. When is the last time we just worshiped God with our lungs because we had them and said, thank you for these feet and I'm so grateful for my ears, right? We worship God in our bodies. And many times when we're dealing with insecurity in our body, in our own image, it gets distorted, right? It's easy to clamp down on control and put more and more rules in place until our focus has shifted from being able to worship with our bodies to worshiping our bodies, or the image of what our bodies could be if we just strove and strived a little bit harder. I want you to listen to what Romans 8:6 says. Obsession with self in these matters is a dead end, but attention to God leads us into a spacious, free life. You know what I get out of that verse? that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do to heal insecurity in your body is to shift its focus to its creator and start praising him and asking him what he thinks of you and this good body of yours. Thank him for your body. Worship him in your body. You know, I love taking my body on a prayer walk, on a worship walk. I did it this morning. I put my earbuds in, I listen to some worship, and I just go talk to Jesus for a few minutes in nature, in his creation. And some of you watching, I know that's not an option for you right now. I know that, but what is? What does worship in your body look like today? Is it movement? Is it rest? Is it using your gifts? Is it serving? Let's remind ourselves that it's attention to God and not fixation on self that leads to the open and the spacious, free life that we're craving. So as we wrap it up today, friend, I just want you to know, let's observe when insecurity is starting to drive the decisions in our life, okay? It's never going to go completely away because we live in an imperfect world, but we can quiet it. We have a choice. We can choose not to obey its demands and sometimes do the opposite. So this week's challenge is to thank God for your good body. Out loud, say, thank you, God, for this good body. Focus on what you are capable of and answer these questions for me, okay? How will you live like your body is good today? This week, what does it look like for you to honor your body, enjoy your body, and worship God with your body? And that's what we have for you today, friends. And just remember, No Small Life is a nonprofit, and we are able to bring you content like this each week thanks to the generous partnership of our donors that we are so grateful for. And if you would like to be part of giving to this ministry, you can do so by visiting nosmalllife.me/donate. Thank you so much for watching today, friend. And remember that your life is not small. Bye, guys.